I now have the honor of introducing Dr. Wael Abdul-Jabbar, President of the Academic Senate at Mission College, who will formally announce our valedictorian.
Thank you. Each year, one student is chosen from among those students receiving a 4-grade point average to receive the honor of valedictorian. I'm honored to announce Alexandre Tron Bowie as this year's valedictorian.
Testing. Good evening, administrations, distinguished faculty, parents, and of course you, the graduating class of 2015. I know what you're thinking. I love most of you too. I am so excited to see all of you here today. It means that you have beaten that horrifying traffic of Silicon Valley to be here on time. And to me, it's a monumental achievement, and that is why we are here celebrating achievement. We are here today because we made it. We have beaten not just the traffic, but all the obstacles, such as juggling between school and work, the emotional and physical exhaustion from family issues, or even some difficult professors. Yes, I'm talking about you, Dr. Pekarsky. I'm looking for her. You have beaten all of those to stand here as a graduate. As someone who has heard and witnessed so many stories of unlikely successes from so many of you, it is my honor and privilege to congratulate you on not giving up, because it's always the first step to success, believing in yourself. Okay, that's enough encouragement for you. Let's talk about me, okay? In all seriousness, before we go into this big existential talk about the life of a graduate, I have a list of people to say thank you to. Not that I need to, but because I have to look good, of course. A lot of these names won't ring any bells to you, but they are close to my heart, so you have to listen while I'm reading them anyway. Thank you, Erik and Holly Murrah, for being my soulmates, who have given me unconditional love and care when I first came here in the US. Tao Lei, for providing me a welcoming home during my stay here in San Jose. Thais Winsome and Ashley Pekarsky, for instilling in me the love and passion for biology and organic chemistry. Margaret J, for being my best friend and a safe haven where I can be who I am without being judged. Last but not least, Thuy and Nhi, my dear parents, for sacrificing everything for me to be here to have a good life. I won't be here without your support, and for that, I say thank you. Okay. Okay, now that out of the way, let's get on with the fun part, shall we? Life lessons. I know that a lot of you sitting here today asking, what am I going to do with this degree or certificate? Because only about 50 years ago, a high school diploma secured you a job, and a college degree was beyond excellence. By the 1980s, to have a job waiting for you means that you have to graduate from a college or university, and it didn't take too long after that for a 4-year degree to become a minimum requirement. 30 years ago, your degrees already did not mean much. So why should you care? Well, this leads to my first point. Don't be afraid to change. In this day and age, where everything happens so fast, 1 minute the job that you're studying for is in high demand, and the next minute becomes obsolete. Acquiring only specialized skills is simply not an option any longer. The thing I love the most about American education is the fact that you have to take liberal arts courses in order to graduate. In many Asian countries, and even in the UK, you will go straight to a specialized school such as finance, medicine, or economics universities, which means that you have to know who you are going to be for the rest of your life by the time you're 18 or 19. That's a lot of pressure when you were 18. When I was 18, I got stressed out when I missed an episode of Desperate Housewives. Not many people I've spoken to know who they were at 18, let alone knew who they were going to be for the next 50 years. Here in the US, you have those 2 extra years to take general education classes and figure out what you love and who you want to be. This may surprise you, but it was not until last semester when I took public speaking as an elective that I realized how much I love speaking in front of the crowd, and it is something I want to do on a regular basis. When I was in my home country, it never occurred to me to speak up, to share my ideas, because I presumed that no one would ever listen to a shy, reserved boy sitting too often in the corner of the classroom. Only in America that I am given that chance to explore myself, not in that way, of course, but intellectually and emotionally. Nowhere else in the world that access to success is available. Community college educational system has made it possible for many of you to become the first person in your family to graduate from college or to start over from where you have left off in high school. Whether it's to acquire technical or vocational skills or to lessen financial burden of higher education, this community college is your first opportunity as well as your second chance. And I'm very glad that you have taken advantage of this institution. I still remember the moment when my name was called for the second place for the speech tournament. It was a moment of joy, pride, and accomplishment. This could be your story too. Or it doesn't have to be this fancy one. Take an English class and discover your inner poet, or take a political science class and embrace your closeted Republican self. Whatever it is, try it. The well-known ice hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you never try, you never know." Even if you don't find these GE classes useful at this very moment, it will become apparent to you that the system is doing you a favor as your life progresses. On average, a typical American changes jobs 7 times during their lifetime, and these jobs are not necessarily related to one another. Working a job for 50 years is an extravagance you simply cannot afford any longer. Therefore, in this day and age, getting a degree doesn't mean getting a job, but many jobs. These different pieces of knowledge will become invaluable assets should you ever decide or are forced to change careers. So remember, the only thing that never changes in life is the fact that things always change. Be willing and welcome to change. The moment that we are resistant to change is the moment the world leaves it behind, and our skills are no longer relevant. 2, don't stay in your box. Not too long ago, if you are a woman, you are not allowed to vote, and you were not even supposed to have a career. You were expected to marry a man, have kids, and stay at home. If you were of African American descent, you had to go to different public restrooms, specified zones where you were allowed to hang out, which schools you could attend. If you were an Asian, you are going to be a doctor, otherwise you were nothing. What I'm trying to get at is, your life was prescribed for you before you even knew it. Society frequently places you inside a box based on your race, religion, gender, or even the political party of your parents. Even more insidious than placing you inside these boxes before you are born is the fact that society implicitly demands you stay inside that box once you are placed there. One of my favorite philosophers is Tyrion Lannister. For those who didn't love, watch Game of Thrones now. He once said, the most insidious thing about chains is how quickly you become comfortable wearing them. I want to challenge all of you, don't stay in your box. Courageously burst forth from that box, challenge the norms and expectations of society. The greatest people in history refused to stay in their box. Socrates, Buddha, Gandhi, Joan of Arc, Amelia Earhart, Winston Churchill, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. These are the people we tell our children about when we tuck them into bed at night precisely because they refuse to stay in their box. Today, we live in a unique time in history because these traditional institutions are breaking down and the frontiers are blending together. You have plenty of opportunities to create your own version of your life. Don't be afraid to be creative, to be spontaneous, be yourself. People will come to you with a preconceived notion of who you are supposed to be based on your race, your background, your orientation. But there's a reason why there exists the ethos called the American dream. There's a land of opportunity, and it's up to you to take up the offers. So don't stop here. Don't stop with this graduation because you are doing so well. Be proud, and whatever you do, don't stay in your box. 3, be humble. Be very humble. Not because you are told to, but because it should make sense to you. Be humble because you are here today. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But remember, you do not make the part of you that is smart. Your parents and their genes did. But genetics is not the only thing that gave you. Many of your parents gave you love and care too. And if it's not your parents, it's somebody's love and care. You cannot be here without the support of everyone around you. So say thank you now. I would like to ask everyone here who has had a hand in either raising for or caring for a graduate to please stand. Please don't be shy. Please don't be shy. Please, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters, please stand. I'm waiting for you. Okay, please stand still. Okay, I would like to ask everyone here who is standing, please stand again. I'm so sorry. Okay, never mind then. Okay, stay alert, people. We have about 42 more points to go. No, I'm joking. This is the last one, I promise. 4, you are a miracle. And I'm not saying this to patronize you like some silly motivational poster. Because here's the cold, hard fact. No one is born into this world destined to be brilliant. That is to say, your very own existence is a result of intertwined randomness of events. The probability of you being born as who you are is, believe it or not, 1 in 10 to the power of 2,685,000. I got that figure from Wikipedia, so that must be true. This number is so humongous, it's incomprehensible. It might as well be 1 in 10 to the power, don't even worry about it because you cannot conceive of it anyway. But there's one thing we can be sure of from hearing that number, and that is, we almost did not exist. Your existence is as unlikely as it is almost impossible. So by definition, you are a miracle. You are unique, interesting, precious, and worthwhile. If your father had not missed his plane that one time in Baltimore, he would never have met your mother in that airport cafe. If your grandfather had not been wounded while serving in Vietnam, he would not have met your grandmother in the hospital, so on and so forth. You, me, all of us almost did not exist, but here we are. And I believe that unlikeliness obligates us to make the most of this improbable life. My adopted father is a writer and a speaker. He says that you should always end your speeches with a quote from a famous person because someone has already said it better than you ever will. So I will leave you with this quote from the famous biologist, Dr. Richard Dawkins. He says the following about the unlikelihood of our existence in this very profound statement. We are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they are never going to be born. The potential people who could have been here in my place but will, in fact, never see the day of light surely outnumber the sand grains of the Sahara. Certainly, those unborn ghosts include poets greater than Keats and scientists greater than Newton. We know this because the set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively outnumbers the number of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, that you and I, in our ordinariness, that are here. So, go forth and feel and act like the miracle that you are. Thank you.